Hello, I am Elephant. Today I want to show you an anime that came out in autumn in 2022. I've somehow gotten stronger when I improved my farm-related skills. The main protagonist is just an ordinary farmer. On his way to the town to sell his vegetables, he sees a group of adventurers attacked by a fierce huge dragon. The dragon can breathe fire, which causes great damage to the nearby areas. Hearing the adventurers shouting, the main protagonist intends to distract the dragon with the carrot in his hand. To his surprise, the carrot hits the dragon and causes an explosion. Why is this farmer so powerful? The story begins with a nearby farm. The farmer is named Al. What he most likes to do every day is to watch the crops he carefully plants grow up healthily. In this world, everyone has his own interface to check his stats. Today, Al finally gets all his farming skills promoted to the highest level. His friend, who runs the farm with him, tells him that he is now a foremost first-rate farmer after all of his farming skills reach the highest level. At this moment, there is a message saying, "Integrate farming skills," on his interface. Seeing his interface, his friend gets shocked because Al's attack points are 73612, but Al doesn't care at all. He only feels anxious to sell his vegetables at the market. When he is having an identity check at the entrance of the capital, Al sees an assassin kidnapping Princess Val and intending to leave by force. Al quickly saves the princess and captures the assassin, which shocks the princess aside. Princess Val immediately expresses her gratitude. However, there is little time left for Else delivering his vegetables, so he hurriedly drives his carriage away. Unexpectedly, when he finishes his delivery and is about to leave, Princess Val stops him. It turns out the princess invites Al to serve the royal family, because the assassin that Al defeated not long ago has an average stats of 500 points. Generally speaking, normal people have only 50 points and adventurers have 130 points, while the legendary hero who saved the world has about 1000 points. Princess Val wants to know Al's stats, but Al quickly refuses, and then he drives his carriage away. Only he knows that he has 65,000 points. If the princess knows it, he will definitely be in trouble. In this world, stats are equivalent to attributes such as talent. The higher the stats are, the stronger he can be. Not long after, Princess Val is called back to the palace. It turns out there is a large group of monsters approaching the capital, which shocks the king. Many years ago, the hero who saved the world defeated the Demon King. To avoid wars, they signed a peace treaty with demons. Why do they invade again? At this moment, the chief executive, Cecil, reminds the king that Vanded, the leader of the demon's army, was extremely unsatisfied with the result, and this invasion may be led by him. Cecil also guesses that Vanded may think the hero is no longer alive, so he dare attack them. And then he suggests the king and the princess leave the capital as soon as possible. At night, Al notices many demons passing near the farm. Thinking of the crops he plants so hard, he hurries to the farm, only to find that demons are not interested in his vegetables, and they seem to be heading to the capital. Al feels anxious that if the capital is ruined, he can't sell his vegetables anymore and they can only rot in the ground. Meanwhile, Cecil takes the king and the princess away from the capital, and then he shows his real identity. It turns out that Cecil was disguised by Vanded, who has been lurking for so many years just for today. The huge dragon that appeared outside the capital not long ago and the assassin who kidnapped the princess were arranged by him. After he kills the king and the princess, he will disguise himself as the king to rule the humans' kingdom. Just when the king and the princess can't resist, Al shows up, easily resisting Vanded's powerful attack with the hoe in his hand. Vanded thinks he may face a strong opponent, but Al just tells him that he is a farmer, causing Vanded to laugh. Thinking that such a weak farmer dares to attack him, Vanded moves behind Al in an instant and wields his sword. However, Al directly catches his sword and throws him to the nearby wall. Knowing that this farmer is not easy to deal with, Vanded turns into the strongest form of demons, a huge demon with horns. Now he also has extremely high stats. Princess Val quickly reminds Al to run away, but then she just shuts up. With just a slight raise of his punch, Al directly hits Vanded to the ground. After that, demons that followed Vanded here immediately flee in all directions. After the crisis is solved, the king gives Al a generous reward, hoping Al can join their army. However, Al refuses without hesitation. He helped them because he doesn't want to lose the place to sell his vegetables. Princess Val is clever. She seems to know Al's desire for farming, so she decides to reward Al with a 33,000 square meter fertile farmland nearby the capital. In exchange, Princess Val hopes Al can prevent the vicinity of the capital from being invaded by demons. Al doesn't refuse this time, because a 33,000 square meter farmland is so attractive to him. For him, killing demons is just a piece of cake. After that, Princess Val dresses up and takes Al to the Adventurers Guild to register, so that he can take some missions of eliminating monsters. Helen, the interviewer in charge of recruiting, introduces the knowledge about adventurers. Adventurers have ranks from G rank to SS rank, and G rank adventurers can get promoted by taking missions. But SS rank is for heroes, and normal people can hardly make it. After that, Al takes his first mission to collect 10 low-level herbs in the nearby monsters forest. Interestingly, Helen seems to have a crush on Al. Before he leaves, she gives him a magical cloak as a gift. Seeing Al donning it, she seems to see a familiar figure. After leaving, Al immediately goes to collect herbs. He then finds a black scale. When Al is still thinking about what kind of monsters this scale belongs to, a female orc appears behind him, which shows her favor to Al and pushes him down. However, Al is so scared that he forgets to resist with his skills. Luckily, a team of adventurers passes by and saves him. After that, Al takes out the scale and asks them whether they know about it. Just then, they feel a powerful pressure and see a huge dragon with a terrifying aura. The black dragon passes them slowly, making them too frightened to move. Al is so scared that he can't help checking its stats with his skill, only getting frightened again. Later, Al and the three adventurers report it to the president of the Adventurers Guild. When using his skill, Al notices the dragon's attack points are 230,000, which means it can destroy a kingdom in an instant. Someone says the black dragon is probably the legendary Ouroboros. After seeing the scale, Helen gets fearful, and a memory flashes through her mind. It seems that her brother Rai was killed by the black dragon. Immediately after, Helen faints to the ground, and other people stop talking about it. Afterward, Al knows from Helen's adoptive mother that when they found Helen, she didn't remember what had happened. From today's incident, it seems that Helen's loss of memory may be related to the black dragon. Hearing about Helen's past life, Al decides to help this kind girl. He goes to the library to investigate the black dragon's origin. Hearing that Al is at the library, Princess Fal also comes. With the princess's help, Al can see more information. They find 15 years ago, a village named Onel was ruined in a night. During the investigation, the black scales were also found, so Al decides to go to Onel at first. When he just arrives at the village, he sees a boy floating in the air. Al realizes the boy in front of him is a ghost in the legend. At this moment, the boy tells his name, Rai. Rai is Helen's younger brother. Al can see him because he wears the cloak that Rai wore before, which makes Rai realize that Al is well in with his sister. After Rai tells his story, the truth of his death gets revealed. When he was young, he and his sister Helen lived in this village. One day, Ouroboros attacked their village and killed other villagers. When they were running away, they met Ouroboros, which strengthens himself with people's despair and fear. He didn't kill Helen. Instead, he told her that he would come to find her after 15 years and destroy the town where she was. After that, he killed Rai in front of Helen. Ouroboros often leaves one survivor after he destroys a city or a village. The survivor will tell his experience to others, which makes everyone afraid of Ouroboros. Besides, the survivor will also become more frightened and desperate, so Ouroboros can gain strong power after he kills them. Rai hopes Al can save Helen. Ouroboros feeds on fear and despair, so they can weaken Ouroboros's power with the opposite emotions. In addition, Rai asks Al to convey his thoughts to Helen. After hearing Rai's story, Al finally knows the reason for Ouroboros' appearance and hurries back to the city. Meanwhile, Ouroboros finds Helen. When Helen sees him, her childhood memory is awakened. Ouroboros tells her that she was so useless that she caused her brother's death. Now other people will also die because of her. Helen gets extremely depressed. Later, she becomes extremely scared and desperate. Just when Helen is so guilty that she intends to end her life, Al arrives and saves her. Ouroboros slaps Al away, but Al only gets injured, which makes Ouroboros surprised because ordinary people can't resist his attack. Unexpectedly, Al hurts Ouroboros with just a punch. However, Ouroboros is so powerful that he soon puts Al at a disadvantage. Al finds a chance to run away with Helen, who is still blaming herself for putting others in danger. Al comforts her, saying that he met Rai today, who asked Al to convey his thoughts to Helen that she should live happily with everyone's hope since she is still alive. At this moment, Helen seems to see her younger brother Rai, gradually becoming hopeful about her future life instead of being in despair. Because of Helen's change, Ouroboros' power is constantly weakened. It turns out that since Ouroboros feeds on despair, his power will be weakened when people become hopeful. Later, Al defeats the weakened dragon with just a punch. Just when he is about to share this victory with Helen, she stabs his stomach with a sword. It turns out Helen has been possessed by Ouroboros. Just when Al almost can't resist, Mirage appears and saves him. Mirage had been sealed inside Ouroboros' body before, and now Ouroboros has possessed Helen's body so he can get awakened. He then injects divine power into El's body and tells him that he can cure him with it as long as he can break Ouroboros' defense. Ouroboros is not afraid at all because he knows Al will not hurt Helen's body. But the next second, Al hurts her with one punch. It turns out that Al learned of Helen's desire in Ouroboros' eyes just now, that she doesn't want Ouroboros to use her body to harm people even if she is injured. Ouroboros then grabs Al's body, intending to control his body. However, in his mind, he only wants to farm so Ouroboros cannot invade his body at all. Al takes the chance to break through Ouroboros' defense. After Mirage casts the skill, Ouroboros is completely purified. At the same time, Al also faints. Later, Al wakes up in the capital. After this incident, Helen gains the power of Ouroboros, with which she decides to benefit people. Afterward, Al attends the celebration banquet held by the Adventurers Guild. One day, a postman gives a letter to Al, which is sent by Al's father and tells that he hasn't seen his son for a long time, and he wants Al to come home once. Al happens to find a particularly delicious tomato in the city. Hearing that the special fertilizer that can grow this tomato is in Al's hometown, Al decides to go back to meet his parents and get some fertilizer. Later, Al sets out to go back home. When passing through the forest, he meets a male half-orc, who unexpectedly intends to kidnap Al as his lover. At this moment, a young girl appears and saves him. The kind-hearted girl is named Ruri and is also an adventurer. Knowing that they have the same destination, Ruri decides to go with Al. At night, they chat and have dinner together. Al learns that Ruri is actually the descendant of the hero who defeated the great demon lord. Ruri heard from a merchant that someone met the demons in the town in which she is going to have an investigation. Al first thinks that Ruri is from a powerful family, but then begins to worry that she may encounter accidents when she comes out alone as a girl. It is Ruri's first time being cared about by someone, and she gets more attracted to Al. Ruri decides to spend the night in the forest, and then takes out various props used to set up a tent from her magic fanny pack. She invites Al into the tent to sleep with her. She believes that Al must be a good person, plus Al is afraid of encountering half-orcs again, so he agrees to it. Ruri likes to move when she sleeps, so Al does not sleep well for a night. Soon after, they arrive in the town. When it is time to separate, Ruri gives Al a map of the location of the hotel where she is, which is drawn by herself. They agree that when Al's visit is over, he will hire Ruri to be his escort to send him back. Later, Ruri starts her investigation. Strangely, the residents of this city never hear that demons once showed up. At this moment, she hears a woman shouting from a distance and rushes over. The woman says her sister is captured by demons. Ruri instantly runs over in the direction guided by the woman. Meanwhile, Al has already been outside his home. When he is about to knock on the door, his mother Lucica comes to greet him with a hug. Al asks his father about the location of the fertilizer factory for growing tomatoes, and also asks about the hotel marked on the map by Ruri. However, Al's father has never heard of this hotel nearby and the demons that Ruri talked about. During the day, Al finally gets the fertilizer he wants in the factory. On his way home, he hears a man saying that he has met demons and a blue-haired girl is now fighting with the demons. Al immediately thinks of Ruri, and then rushes over in the direction guided by the man. When Al arrives, he sees giant insect monsters attacking a woman and saves her. But after that, the woman turns into the form of the giant insect. Just then, Ruri appears and saves Al. She tells Al that many giant insects appear in this forest. The next moment, the man who previously deceived Al appears. Ruri recognizes that he is the merchant who told her that the demons appear here. The man claims himself to be Loki, who is also a demon. The information released before is a trap to lure Ruri here, the descendant of the hero. And he knows Al is the human who defeated Vanded and Ouroboros, so he intends to kill Al together with Ruri this time. After hearing this, Ruri attacks him without hesitation, but Loki hurts Ruri with just one shot. Al immediately heals her with magic, and then fights against Loki. However, Loki is much more powerful that he soon puts Al at a disadvantage. He tells Al that in addition to Al and Ruri, he will also find Helen, who has the power of Ouroboros. Then, he taunts Ruri, saying that as a descendant of the hero, it is impossible for her to defeat him at all if she doesn't use the power of the good god. After that, Loki summons giant insects to attack them. Although they block the attack of the giant insects, they fail to resist the magic ball cast by Loki. The two giant insects then bite El's body. Also, Loki is preparing the powerful energy in his hand to give them a fatal blow. At this moment, Ruri keeps saying sorry. As a descendant of the hero, she is under great pressure. Since she is not powerful enough, she is often mocked by others and only her parents have been supporting her. Now she feels that she has failed her parents' expectations. Just as Ruri is about to give up, Al stands up and eliminates the giant insects with the fertilizer, which has the effect of killing insects. In order to save Ruri and Helen, Al keeps attacking Loki. Seeing that Al still doesn't give up, she awakens the belief inside her. Now she has those she wants to protect and the courage that allows her not to give up. So she finally awakens the power of the good god unique to the descendants of the hero, and kills Loki with one sword. At this moment, Al also faints in Ruri's arms because he is exhausted. Seeing Al risk his life for her, Ruri seems to arouse a special feeling for him. At night, Al finally wakes up. On their way back, they hear a strange voice of a woman in the forest. Ruri gets frightened, thinking that it is a female ghost. Al recognizes that it is his mother, Lusika's voice, who is looking for him, and if Lusika finds him staying with other girls, she will be jealous and make some drastic moves. So Al quickly takes Ruri back to the city. They agree to return to the capital together tomorrow morning. Knowing that his mother must be angry that he disappeared for a day, Al directly hides in his room when he returns home. Lusika can only vent all her anger on El's father. Early the next morning, Lusika holds El's leg and stops him from leaving. To let his mother not pester him, Al can only say that if she keeps acting like this, he will dislike her. Finally, he gets to say goodbye to his parents and goes back to the capital with Ruri. Soon after, Al takes Ruri back to the capital and introduces Helen to her. When returning to the farm, Al discovers that a teenager is stealing the eggplant he planted and immediately catches him. In his opinion, the eggplant is not ripe, and it is not the best time to eat it. Seeing the teenager hungry, Al gives him a spinach out of kindness. The teenager immediately expresses his gratitude and leaves with the spinach. Helen tells Al that the logistics system has been paralyzed due to the recent appearance of many monsters near the capital. The price of vegetables and grain has risen, and ordinary people can no longer afford them. At this time, the monster attacks again, and Al immediately rushes over with several people. Helen gains the ability of Ouroboros and takes on the form of Ouroboros to attack the incoming monsters, and Ruri also joins the battle along with Al. However, there are too many monsters for them to repel at all. At this moment, Nedalis, the prince of the neighboring country, appears with a group of knights, holding a holy sword in his hand and shouting for the monsters to retreat quickly. This group of monsters seems to be frightened by the holy sword and immediately leaves. Al is surprised, wondering if the holy sword in Nedalis' hand is really that powerful. At night, Princess Val finds Al with a sad expression, saying that she is about to leave the capital and will never come back. Before Al could ask for the reason, Prince Val is taken away by her subordinate. Since then, the monsters have never appeared again, and the logistics and prices of the capital have returned to normal. One day, Al receives a letter from his mother Lusika, and then reads the news in the newspaper that Princess Val is about to marry Prince Nedalis, which makes Al so surprised. Later, Al finds Ruri and Helen with the letter from Lusika, in which Lusika mentions that she was previously the captain of the Shadow Puppets, the strongest spy organization. No matter how classified the information is, it will be found out by them. Recently, Lusika heard the news that Nedalis, the prince of the neighboring country, did not use the holy sword to drive away the monsters at all, but captured a demon's lover, who he used to blackmail this demon race into controlling the monsters to attack the human city. And Nedalis recently reached an agreement with the king of their country to marry Princess Val on the condition that he protect the capital. Immediately after learning the truth, Al decides to take Ruri and Helen to save Princess Val in the neighboring country. Meanwhile, Nedalis uses the demon to launch attacks on nearby countries with monsters, and the leaders of these countries think that Nedalis has driven away the monsters by the holy sword, so they offer their own lucrative rewards in exchange for protection from Nedalis. Before leaving, Al goes to a clothing store in town to order some clothes. The hostess here is the mother of the teenager who received spinach from Al not long ago. In this rescue of Princess Val, the postman Reeks will also participate. Reeks tells everyone that he is currently a member of the Shadow Puppets, and is also a demon. Humans and demons have been living in peace for many years because of the peace agreement. The lover who is used to blackmail demons by Nedalis is a human, and he hates Nedalis very much for destroying the relationship between the two races because of his own selfish desires. He investigates that tomorrow will be the wedding of Princess Val and Nedalis. After they agree on a strategy, they embark on the rescue of Princess Val. At night, Princess Val prays to the sky, hoping that she can see Al again, which is seen by Nedalis, who is hiding in the shadows. At this moment, Al infiltrates the city with Ruri and Helen, and they dress in the clothes that Al customized in the clothing store not long ago in an attempt to dress up as farmers to enter the palace. They look so suspicious that they are soon noticed by the city guards and are chased. At the critical moment, Helen and Ruri stay behind to stall the guards, while Al infiltrates the city to rescue the demon's lover. At the same time, the wedding of Princess Val and Nedalis is still going on, and the priest in the church asks Princess Val if she is willing to marry Nedalis. Now Princess Val is very sad. Even if she is full of unwillingness, she must accept this marriage for her citizens. Just as Princess Val is about to complete her wedding to Nedalis, Al breaks the church door to stop the wedding. Seeing this, Princess Val bursts into tears of emotion. Al then reveals Nedalis' conspiracy to everyone at the scene that the holy sword is fake, and the reason why there are monsters invading cities everywhere is that Nedalis takes the demon's lover as a hostage and coerces the demon to control the monsters to launch attacks. Now Al has freed the hostage, and Nedalis' lie will be completely broken. At this moment, Reeks attracts a large number of monsters to invade the city, and also brings Netulus' holy sword. Al throws the holy sword directly at the monster, which directly bites the sword into pieces. Now everyone completely believes El's words. Netulus tries to fight back, only to be blocked by El's melee and then defeated by El's punch. The crisis finally gets resolved. Later, Al returns to his farm life. After a busy day, in his room, he stares at the girl in a photo on the table in a daze. Just then, a memory about Al gets revealed. 15 years ago, Al, a young boy, showed from an early age the potential to be particularly suitable for farm work. Even his father was no match for him. Al's family was kind. They often gave the vegetables they grew to neighbors nearby. On this day, when he was delivering vegetables, he found a little girl caught by two adults. It is said that this little girl is an orphan, and in order to survive, she often came out to steal other people's vegetables. At this time, the little girl broke free and fled. After hearing about the little girl's tragic experience, Al often ran to the mountains to bring food to the little girl. And after a long time, the little girl let down her guard against Al and told Al that her name was Ilvia. At this moment, the two men who had recently captured Ilvia came again. They wanted to take Ilvia away and sell her to the slave trader to make up for the loss of their farm. But at this time El's father passed by. He once heard what happened to Ilvia, plus he saw Els waiting for him to save Ilvia, so he ransomed Ilvia and took her home. Therefore, Ilvia became part of El's family, and was finally no longer an orphan. She spent 3 years happily in El's family. For Ilvia, Al had become the most important person in her life. One day, El's parents told him that they were going to the city to find a more suitable house for the family, and asked him to take good care of the family during these days. Soon after, El's friend Testa picked up a treasure map, so he asked Al to go on a treasure hunt in the mountains, and Ilvia also wanted to go with him, but was stopped by Al. On the way to the mountains, Al asked Testa why Ilvia was always clinging to him and not playing with other children in the village. Testa told the truth, saying that the children in the village disliked Ilvia and they would humiliate her every time she went to play with them. Al, after hearing this, felt so guilty, and he finally knew that the reason why his parents were going to find a new house in the city was that they wanted to give Ilvia a better place to live. Al decided to get the treasure and give it to Ilvia. They followed the markings on the map and found a basement, where they found a stone tablet. Just when Al touched it, a dark force swallowed him up. By the time Al woke up again, he had been carried to a camp outside the village. It turned out that while Al was in a coma, the volcano on the mountain erupted, and the entire village was covered with ash. Besides, the only bridge that could leave the village was destroyed, and the villagers completely lost contact with the outside world. Since it was winter, plus the village was covered with ash, each villager did not have much food, and they could only get very little food. Al had been very weak since he was in a coma, and Ilvia, in order to take care of Al, secretly distributed all the food she got to Al, lying to him that this was the relief food. Under Ilvia's care, Al slowly recovered, but Ilvia eventually fell to the snow because of long-term malnutrition and lost her life. When Al received the news, he completely collapsed. Soon after, Al's parents finally rushed back, but they lost Ilvia forever. Al's memories end here. Al holds the tomato in his hand and laments that if it were now, he would not let Ilvia starve. Perhaps this is why Al has always been so obsessed with growing vegetables. But life still needs to go on. One day, after completing his adventurer mission, Al discovers a girl who has passed out in the forest. The girl's name is Linnea, who came here from another city and is going to go to the Adventurers Guild to commission a mission, but she fell exhausted in the forest. Luckily, Al saves her. Soon after, Al brings Linnea to the guild. People of Linnea's city have recently become particularly eccentric, and she hopes to find adventurers to investigate. After hearing about it, Al, as an adventurer, takes this commission. Later, they get on the carriage to Linnea's city, but they do not expect that Al is chased by an orc again on the way. He is so frightened that he faints. But fortunately, the carriage moves fast enough not to be caught up. After that, Linnea puts on him a necklace made by her family, which is said to appease others. Soon the two arrive in the city of Linnea. Al finds that the barbecue sellers here do not even care if the food is burnt, and the people who deliver the vegetables also do not care if the vegetables in the car fall to the ground. The residents of the city are all under hypnosis. Al speculates that it is probably the anti-hypnosis necklace Linnea wears around her neck that makes her not have these problems. When Al is about to go down the street to investigate further, the city's lord finds him. The lord of the city also wears a necklace around his neck and seems to have not been hypnotized. Hearing Al's intentions, he invites Al to his castle to talk about it in detail. At this time, two hypnotized residents directly kidnap Al. After breaking free from the two residents, Al takes Linnea to visit the city lord, but he does not expect to be surrounded by soldiers just after sitting down. Luckily, Al easily defeats these low-level soldiers. It turns out that this city lord has been hypnotized by the lord of the demons, who can inject his magic power into crystals to control humans. He heard not long ago that Al defeated the powerful Ouroboros, so he kidnapped Linea's parents and threatened Linea to trick Al into the city, intending to control Al, who has strong power, and rule all mankind. But he underestimates Al's intelligence. It turns out that the two residents who kidnapped Al not long ago were actually disguised by Ruri and Helen. Al has guessed that this adventurer's mission is not simple, so he privately asked Ruri and Helen to investigate the city, and finds that the residents of the city were all hypnotized by the statue of the goddess in the center of the city. When he comes to visit the city lord, Ruri and Helen have destroyed the statue to free the residents of the city, thus weakening the power of the demon lord. In this way, the demon lord's plan fails and he is easily defeated by Al. After solving the problem, Al intends to go back to his city. Strong men always attract girls. After this incident, Linea has had a crush on Al. She boldly kisses him, saying that when she becomes powerful in the future, she will definitely go to pursue Al. Ruri, who is hiding aside, sees this and beats Al up out of jealousy. After this adventure, Al returns to his farm and plants vegetables as usual every day. Later, he sells these vegetables in the royal capital. For the protagonist Al, life will not go so dull. One day, he meets several men in the royal capital kidnapping a little girl and goes to save her. It turns out that this little girl is a demon, so just now those men wanted to kidnap her and sell her. At this moment, Reeks, who is also a demon, recognizes the little girl as the daughter of the demon king, Princess Yuria. After asking Yuria, Al learns that Yuria's castle was attacked by enemies not long ago, and Volpe Doma, Yuria's guard, opened the spatial rift and teleported Yuria to this city. Now Yuria is very worried about her family, and after seeing Al's strength just now, she hopes that Al can help save her family. Al has always been kind and has no hostility towards the demons. Looking at the poor girl Yuria, he agrees to this request. Yuria's castle is on the other side of the sea and it would have taken 3 days by boat to arrive there. Unexpectedly, Al directly picks up Yuria and runs over the sea. As soon as he arrives at the gate of the castle, Volpe Doma, who has been guarding Yuria's safety, takes the initiative to attack them. Al guesses that Volpe Doma must be hypnotized and he doesn't want to hurt him, causing him to catch in a dilemma. At this moment, Al's mother, Lucica, suddenly appears and punches Volpe Doma, saying that she has heard that Al has gone to the headquarters of the demon race alone and feels worried. That's why she rushed over. Al feels that his mother is a little strange, but it's hardly the time to discuss it now. Yuria rushes into the castle, only to find that it has been badly damaged and full of injured soldiers. Even the demon lord has been knocked to the ground. Just as Yuria steps forward to care for the demon king, Lucica unexpectedly picks up her sword and slashes at Yuria, but Al has already guessed it and stops the attack. It turns out that Al has guessed from the meeting just now that the woman in front of him is not his mother. According to his mother's personality, after seeing Al, she would definitely hold him hard, but this woman did not do this. After hearing Al's words, the woman laughs maniacally, and instead of continuing to hide her identity, she calls Al her brother. After that, she shows her true appearance, who is unexpectedly Ilvia that has been dead for many years. Looking at Ilvia, who has grown into an adult in front of him, Al feels a little incredulous. Then, Ilvia explains how it all happened. It turns out that in the mountain where Ilvia was buried, there was the evil god of this world buried underground. The evil god resurrected Ilvia and gave her great power. From then on, Ilvia has worshipped the evil god as her master, and it was the evil god who ordered her to attack the castle. Ilvia also reveals that the reason why Al has such great power is that Al also obtained the power of the evil god on that mountain. She tells Al that if Al is willing to submit to the evil god as she does, she will tell Al the truth. While talking, Ilvia tries to control Al by hypnotizing him. At this moment, Yuria makes a voice aside and interrupts Ilvia's spellcasting. Angry, Ilvia intends to kill Yuria, and Al wants to stop it, but it is too late. At the critical moment, time suddenly freezes. Since there is an evil god in this world, there is also a good god. It turns out that the good god sensed the power of the evil god just now and she freezes time. The good god looks very weak. Now there is not much time left. The good god tells Al that she is going to remove the evil god's power in Al's body, and then give him the power of the good god. After saying this, the good god uses her last power to turn the clock back, and Al finally has the opportunity to cast his skill and save Yuria. Seeing Al use the power of the good god, Ilvia guesses that the good god intervenes in this matter. After Ilvia breaks free from Al, a fight breaks out. At this moment, Volpe Doma finally awakens and joins the battle, only to be easily defeated by Ilvia. Seeing that Ilvia is about to kill Volpe Doma, Al shouts loud, making Ilvia stop her action. Before leaving, Ilvia says that she wants to meet her brother alone next time. After the crisis is solved, Al accepts the Demon King's thanks, and now he has a lot of questions to solve. He intends to find the secret of the evil god in the mountain, but he finds that he becomes weak after losing the power of the evil god, even being unable to defeat the ordinary orc. Helen comforts him, saying that he is still stronger than normal adventurers even though his power is weakened. Al swears that one day he'll have to figure out the secret about Ilvia and the evil god. Before that, he will grow vegetables while improving his strength. Now that he has a lot more companions around him, he must do his best to protect them. That brings the end of the first season. The secret about Al gradually gets revealed. He broke into the cave where the evil god was buried and accidentally obtained the power of the evil god, so his power is much stronger than that of ordinary adventurers. Now the power of the evil god has been removed by the good god, and Ilvia appears as his enemy. I am really looking forward to the next story of Al's adventures. Al is a special adventurer who does not like to fight and only loves his farm though he has strong power. It is precisely because of his kindness that he has attracted many girls, and now Princess Fal, Helen, and Ruri all have a special affection for him. I wonder which girl you want Al to fall in love with. Welcome to leave your answer in the comment section. Well, today's video ends here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope I can see you again in my recap of Season 2. Bye!